You're listening to Your Evening Escape. It's a Monday night, and as usual, we're going to talk about what's happening in the property market this week. And joining us is Bernard Tong, CEO of EdgeProp.sg. That is the portal that, provides you with news, listings, and analyses. And the Property Weekly, part of the Edge Singapore Business and Investment Weekly. And Bernard is on the phone with us this evening. Good evening to you, Bernard. So I guess it's good timing to have a look at those flash estimates from the URA first.
Good evening, team. Yes, today the government just released two flash estimates this morning, one for private housing and the other for HDBs. The URA flash estimate, which is an indicator for private housing, showed a 3.1 increase in prices of private homes quarter over quarter. This is the highest quarterly rise in prices since 2010, when prices rose by 5.3%. The flash estimate by HDB, on the other hand, showed prices declined by 0.8% over the past 3 months, the highest quarterly decline in 9 quarters.
Okay, very quickly, what does this all mean, Bernard?
It means that the private property market is picking up, while at the same time the HDB market, the prices are declining. And actually we have an explanation for this. So the theory is that for the URA housing index, the increase was primarily due to all the new launches at much higher prices compared to resale. At the same time, resale owners are either holding back their units in anticipation of en bloc, and some of them are even risking their asking prices by 10 to 20%. Now, all these upgraders who have purchased these private properties are required to sell their HDB flats within 6 months. Hence, this is one of the key reasons that is potentially driving down the prices for HDB resale. But we could see things changing in the coming months, especially with these en bloc beneficiaries receiving their money and exploring the HDB resale market as a potential substitute. So we expect HDB resale prices, especially the larger units in central locations, to pick up when this happens.
All right. What else is happening in the property market, Bernard?
So there's quite a lot of things happening, Tim. Just today, Cane Hill Heights was sold en bloc for about 10% below the original asking price of more than $80 million. We also saw Chancery Court launch for collective sale. And over the long weekend, there were several projects that were previewed. So one was Oxley Holdings' The Veranda Residences at Pasir Panjang, which was launched at an indicative price of $1,800 PSF. Hoi Hub and Sunway previewed their 628-unit EC called River Cove Residences. It's the only EC project to be launched in 2018 for an indicative price of $918 PSF. Later this month, we should see the preview of the 520-unit Twin View located at West Coast Vale, which is a maiden project by CSC Land.
Okay, so these are pretty much in the western side of Singapore. A lot of activity there. What's happening?
Yes, traditionally the east has always been more popular with the buyers. In fact, on EdgeProp.sg, people looking for properties in the east are almost twice as many as those looking for properties in the west.
Oh.
And based on findings by Knight Frank, which we carry in this week's issue, the housing supply in the western region have grown the least among all other planning regions. And then there hasn't been that many en bloc deals in the Jurong area. But things are changing, and private housing prices there could see a spike based on developers' bid prices achieved at West Coast Vale over the last 3 years.
Okay, is it just that particular West Coast Vale, or are you seeing, this trend happening all over the western side?
Tim, this is generally happening across the board in the western region, especially since the government announced that it intends to turn Jurong Lake District into Singapore's second CBD. It's also where the high-speed rail to KL terminal will be located. So far, the only new private condo launch in the area is actually J Gateway by MCL Land in 2013. Mm-hmm. Now, that project, when it was first launched, all units were sold in a single day. So now there's one interesting fact. That is the same evening the government introduced the TDSR cooling measure, which actually resulted in a few buyers returning some of the units. However, these returned units were then quickly snapped up by other buyers as well.
Very interesting on the west side Jurong Lake area that you mentioned. That's actually where my restaurant is. But anyway, yeah, well, I mean, we saw that potential in that growing neighborhood. Anyway, other developments around that area that we should be looking out for?
Now, in the vicinity of Jurong Gateway, there are mainly HDB blocks, but there's a large privatized HUDC estate called Ivory Heights. It has 654 units and sits on a huge site. It's actually going for an en bloc sale process currently, and owners are asking for a modest price of $1.34 billion. So if the sale is successful, it will actually match the record price of the largest en bloc deal ever. So generally, things are moving in the West now, and yes, they have not been forgotten.
I'm going to save up some money and see the potential there. All right, Bernard, thank you very much for that. Bernard Tong is with EdgeProp.sg. And Bernard, where can they read all about this?
You can head online to EdgeProp.sg to find the latest properties, or you can pick up a copy of the Edge Weekly from your favorite newsstand.
Thank you very much, Bernard. We'll hear from you again next week. Bernard Tong there with EdgeProp.sg, and you're listening to Your Evening Escape on 938 Now. In the know and always on the go.